What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Cameraman Show. My name's Kartik.
I'm Manav.
And in this podcast, we talk about all things weddings, cameras, and business. Today's episode is a juicy one. Not an interesting one. It's a juicy one. And we were kind of holding off from making this at the start because we knew this was going to be red hot. But
why is it a juicy one, Kartik?
I don't know, Manav. What do you think? B1? Get the reference? B1,
Yes,
B2?
yes,
Okay.
I'm not participating in that.
No worries. Yeah. But in this podcast episode, we're going to talk about red flag clients.
Ooh.
Spicy. Very juicy. Very juicy.
Yeah,
Shit's going to go down in this one. Yeah. Of course, no names, because we don't distribute names here. But we will be collating 8 years for me, and I think over 10 years for you, of experience in terms of red flag clients. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It's one of those things that like you don't really know when you start out, I feel like. But as you get more into like the mature part of your career, you tend to pick up on these little things.
Yeah. And it comes with time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know this shit at the start, but it just sort of creeps up and you're like, oh, this is a bit.
I mean, at the start, like you can't really afford to have like, be picky as well when you're not really like booking anything anyway. So
in the start, you're kind of like, I'll take a red flag client.
I'll take
a red flag client.
I'll take anything, bro. Anything.
But we're going to be fair and we're actually going to do 2 episodes. This episode's going to be red flag clients if you're the client.
The next one we're going to release is going to be the red flag photographers, and that's going to be for the couples who are looking to book their wedding photographer and
what to look out for. What to look out for, basically. Yeah. Red flags. I don't know if we should define what a red flag is. I think the term came up.
People know.
People know?
Right? I think people know what it is.
I heard about it through dating first, like red flag. You know, when you... Anyways, basically... Red flags are like...
Here we go.
Red flags are things to look out for.
Tell me what... Okay, in dating world, what's a red flag? Ooh.
Like an ick? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Whatever you think is...
A red flag is like someone who's like maybe misogynist or like someone who isn't polite or kind. It's a bit of a red flag. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the second one's kind of you.
No. I'm good. I'm a nice guy.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think, yeah. Anyways, let's just get straight into the episode.
Sounds good.
Red flag clients, number 1. I think this has happened to you, or is this?
No, didn't that happen to you?
This happened to me.
Yeah. I think this one's probably happened to like most photographers out there. It's one of those really common things that you can run into, especially when you're new. And I mean, while you're new, this probably isn't a red flag because obviously, like, you want to just put your work out there. No one really knows you, and you might even come across someone who's. Oh, by the way, we're talking about collaborations first of all, so we can. So people know what we're talking about. This is a client who tells you that
potential client
who tells you that, hey, collaborate with me on my wedding so you can get exposure instead of getting paid.
No. I'm trying not to lose my shit right now, but I'm losing my shit right now. I've had this a few times, and it's concerning with the amount of times that I've had this, and I don't know how it makes me fully feel in words right now, but just to give you an indication, I'm usually pissed whenever I hear it. And I think what bothers me is the fact that how it's sort of put out. It's really sneaky. It's really like conniving. It's kind of, what's that word? Like the agenda behind it, I don't really like. It's like, work for me for free, and in return, I'll give you some level of exposure. Does your exposure pay my bills, bruh? Does it pay off my $8,000 camera, bruh? I don't think so.
Check out that camera bag video we did.
28,000. But that's the part that I think some photographers, by the way, may be okay with that. They might not mind because
I think especially if you're like new, right?
Yeah.
When you're like just trying to like get started in the business and you don't really have any leads coming in, I think this could be one of those ways where you can just like put your foot into the market, right? And like just show yourself what you can do.
Yeah.
But definitely for like anyone who's like even like semi-established, I think this is a massive red flag. I also think it matters from who this is said. Maybe I'll get your thoughts on this, right? Because what I don't mind is if it comes from me, be like, hey, look, I understand you've got a bit of a high profile about you, if I can even say it that way. I don't mind doing this for free. Are you talking about like influencers or something?
Maybe. Okay. Like there's one aspect of it.
Okay.
So if I suggest that, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, obviously.
Maybe I sound like a hypocrite.
That's not really like a red flag if you're suggesting.
Yeah.
Like I don't if mind. You're willing to work for free, then you do whatever, right?
Or I know that there are some photographers who like really, really passionately want like a destination wedding. And so what they'll do is they'll be like, hey, I'll shoot for free, but in return, can you just sort of cover my flights and accommodation and all that stuff. Yeah. But this way kind of sounds a bit sus. It's like,
have you had someone? Do you have any stories about this? Like someone who?
Yes.
Do you want to share that?
No.
No, do it.
I remember when I first started, I was doing okay. I wasn't bad at what I was doing. You were
getting leads?
I was getting a few leads. I wouldn't say like what I was now, but I was getting a few leads. And someone contacted me and they said to me, hey, love your work, but we're looking for vendors to collaborate on our wedding.
Oh, damn.
And I was just taken aback by that. And I'm like, okay.
So that means this person has not only asked you.
Yeah. Oh, they've asked a few people.
They've asked a few people to collaborate on the wedding. Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean by that? Yeah. And she said, well, and this person said,
I mean, it's always a bride. So she said, whatever.
I'm trying to
it's usually a bride that would come. I don't think I've had a single groom come in to me and say, you want to collaborate on my wedding? It's always a bride.
Sadly, that is true.
It is,
sadly.
But the thing is, at the same time, like I think 80 to 90% of the times we get contacted by brides anyway. So that makes sense.
Okay, fair point. But
so she said,
so she said, it's a big wedding. It's there'll be a lot of people here. It's, relatively large numbers, and this will be good for your business.
I mean, I don't disagree if you're new. It's something that wouldn't be bad for your business.
You're right. I don't disagree. But I don't like it. Like, you don't tell me what's good for my business. Yeah. You can't be like, you should do this for free because this would be good for your Like, that's not cool, man. I didn't like that.
And now this client, did that client end up being a bad client or was it like a good wedding?
I never took the wedding.
Oh, you didn't take the wedding? Okay.
No, I quoted this client very cheaply, if I could just put out there, because my prices were relative to my skill at the time, and now in hindsight, when I look back to it. Yeah. And it made me go, nah, I'm okay. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to create a little barrier here and say no for it. Now, there are some photographers that might jump on that opportunity, by the way, and kudos to them if that actually works. Like, I don't blame you for doing that. But for me, I don't appreciate the way that it's framed. Like, you should do this because you'll get exposure, because then you'll lead to another wedding. And it's coming from a client who, I'm sorry, but you're not a celebrity. You're not anyone majorly big in my eyes. You're another person, which is kind of like, I didn't.
Would you think it would be justified if it is like let's say if there's an influencer that has like 500,000 followers, right? Yeah. Obviously, you would think like most people in at least your community or like your surrounding will know this person. Now, if this person comes to you and they're like, "Hey, do you want to collaborate on my wedding?" Would you think you would say yes or no to that?
See, now here's where it becomes harder, right? Yeah. Because let's just assume that this person's a bridal influencer, which I think there are a niche for that now. Like, there are a few people who are bridal influencers, such as Natasha Shah, shout out to her. So if someone like her comes to me with a solid audience, within my exact demographic, within my exact location, within the ideal sort of target market that I want to operate in, it's a hard one to say no to, but I'd
still not for free. I would say you'd probably do it for like cheaper.
But I also have to understand, where's my context of my business? Is it in infancy right now?
Because think about it, I get it. Like, I think right now it makes no sense for you to say even cheaper, right? Because like, imagine you take on this wedding for like 50% of what you would normally charge. There's no way you're not going to get another lead for that same day.
Yeah,
right?
I think for me, like, if I was, say, starting out like I was several years ago and someone said that to me, again, I don't appreciate that. But if someone was really in the target market that I really wanted, I don't know, like, maybe I would have said yes if it's like an influencer. This person who actually approached me, as in the story I was referring to, wasn't an influencer by any means, no massive following. And I think for me, it was a bit of a, like, I just didn't want to work for free. I had already done enough collaborations to start the business off, so it wasn't exactly I was new, and I was okay at where I was at. So that's kind of the first point. Has this happened to you, or has this not been a thing for you?
I've had one or two people like ask me to collaborate. I pretty much just said no.
How did it make you feel?
Well, I was like, why would I want to work for free if I can get like a paid wedding, right? And obviously this was like maybe like a couple of years ago, so I'm already like getting leads and stuff. Maybe if this happened like earlier, I could have maybe taken it, but I like back to the client that you're talking about. Like they collaborated with. Looks like they collaborated with all the vendors, right?
Somewhat.
But I don't mean, surely they didn't collaborate with like a venue. The venues are going to let you shoot.
A venue going to be like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. And like, or even like catering. No one's giving you free food. So it's really funny that this collaboration only comes to like
certain people,
hair and makeup,
photography, jewelry, clothing, or whatever it is. Yeah, like why is it that there's only a few vendors that this could go to, not everyone? And I think, again, it's maybe there's this hidden rule of who people like this can say this to. Like maybe they go, I could say this to a business owner.
You can't say this shit to a fucking venue.
Then you'd be like,
go fuck yourself.
Can I help you? Like, who the fuck are you? Like, I'm sorry. Do you know what? Yeah. Venue owners aren't going to be like, we'll do this for free. Tells you where
people like place photography on their scale. Some people.
It's not a highly valued thing, or maybe it's not even about that. It's just not. I think the ability to negotiate is a lot easier when you're looking at a videography studio versus a venue.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And because that's like the base. Like you can't have a wedding if you don't have a venue.
Yeah.
But you can still have a wedding without a photographer.
That's also very true. I thought about it that way. That's also very true.
Yeah, fair.
The other big red flag that we've experienced, and not just us, but we know this is a passionate thing amongst a lot of photographers, when clients... I'm going to use the word constantly, just as a caveat here.
Because everyone does this.
Because everyone does this, yeah.
So what is this?
Haggling on price.
Okay.
And I think it's very socially acceptable, by the way, in today's day and age, especially with inflation and how expensive shit is. It is very valid and fair to ask for a discount.
Yeah, I get it all the time.
All the time. How does it make you feel when someone asks you for a discount? Hey, Manav, like we love your work. Like everything's great. You're the guy. You are the guy. And I really love your videography. I love your photography. Your team's amazing. You're really handsome.
Yeah. That's going a bit overboard.
Okay, but I really love your work. Your work.
Imagine a bride. You're so handsome. I want to book you.
I'd be like, what the fuck's going on?
I think that's a red flag in itself. That's like a different red flag
I'd be like, that's a nice compliment.
Yeah. Have you ever had that?
No, I've never had a bride. No. Have you ever had that?
You're the one who brought this shit up, not me.
I don't know. I mean,
is there some hidden shit going on?
No, dodgy business. I've had someone say, like you're a really lovely person.
Yeah.
You're a really energetic, enthusiastic person. Never a handsome guy. I'd love to be called that once. Yeah. If anyone's listening moving on.
But I think your mum will be like,
my mum would definitely,
so handsome.
Mum would definitely say, Beta, you're so handsome.
Like that's typical mum.
That's typical mum behavior. But say someone's buttered you up.
Yeah.
You know, as I've just said, minus the handsome part. What do you respond to that?
I mean, I think it's pretty normal. I get it all the time. Like people trying to haggle here and there. Like to be honest, like all the time, I would say like maybe 30-40% of the people that contact.
Yeah,
right?
very fair.
A lot of people just don't, which
very
is like great,
rare that we get someone go, oh yeah, cool, within the first instance. Yeah. Like very rare.
For me, it would be like every other person does this, right? Yeah, but what I normally do is, I mean, obviously I just stick to my price. I'm not like
how do you say it? How do you say it back to me? So I've just asked you, hi Manav, like, thank you, like you're amazing. Is there a better price? Is there any discount or leeway on price?
No.
No. Are you sure?
Yes. Doesn't matter how much you're rubbing me or touching me, this price ain't going down.
I get it. My inner, like, if I had a really good rapport with someone and someone's
people that listen to like, what is this rubbing and touching?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't watch the video.
People not watching the video won't understand the context of what I just did. But when I've had a really good time with someone and a great consult call, I'm not gonna lie, it makes it difficult for me to say no because you've asked so politely and we've built a bit of rapport here. But I would also stick to my guns and go, unfortunately, this is the best price.
Yeah. Like, and the thing is, I'm not like quoting like unreasonable shit from the start off, right? Yeah. Like, I feel like where I'm priced is more
very relatively
quite competitive to everyone else.
Yeah.
So I normally just say nicely, look, thank you, but unfortunately that's the best price I can do. And it's fine. Like if after that, if they want to go somewhere else, that's totally fine.
But no, Manav, like we really,
See,
really
now that's
want
when
you.
it starts getting a bit weird when they start haggling, like, which is what you said, like constantly. Like when you start getting like two,
But I really,
three,
really
four,
want you,
five
Manav.
times.
I want you so bad.
Yeah.
I want you so I want you. I want you.
I mean, if it gets to that point, I think I just have to like block the person or something.
I think your wife would be a bit concerned at this point. You'd be like, no, you can't have it. I think I agree with you. I think it becomes very interesting. I'm going to use that word, or difficult, when someone consistently keeps asking you. And the part that I think we've experienced is in the way in which they ask you. So, you know, they might they might just do the standard approach, be like, oh, is there a discount? Okay, no. Oh, but can we take out something? And when they start negotiating with the package, I can understand that if you're taking out certain services, that might lower the price. That might be socially acceptable. But what I think is concerning is when they take
like 1 hour less, or like 2 hours less.
Or little nitty gritty things that I think are like, that's not how this works. Like, you can't take that part out of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the part where I start getting a bit concerned, is that when they're really anal with certain things. And again, you can be, as a client, you can be very thorough, but once you've asked once and I've said, unfortunately, this is the best price. Yeah. I think that there has to be a bit of respect there. And sometimes I get the comment, oh, but this is actually what I've got. Oh, well, look, Kartik, I'll be honest with you. So-and-so's charging this much. So,
yeah, I've had that.
Yeah. So what do you say? Like, so-and-so's charging this much.
First of all, like, this is not like a... I don't even know what to compare to. Like, this is not like you're getting the same identical product from two different stores. Like, this is like, for example, if you go shopping, it's not like you're going to go to Coles and get something and then you're going to go to Woolworths and you're going to compare the price, right? Because you're literally getting the very similar, like 99% same stuff.
Yeah.
One might be cheaper. Then you go for it cheaper, right? But when it comes to like photography or even like, for example, DJs, like makeup artists, everything like that, it's very
There's a lot of discrepancy in price.
There's a lot of... then skill level is...
Correct,
involved, right?
Yeah.
You might be inquiring with someone who has like inferior equipment, who hasn't been shooting for that long, is not very experienced, is plain lazy. Like, could be anything.
I also think it depends in terms of what people are charging, because we've discussed this off this podcast, but photographers can charge a very range of prices here, and that's determined on a whole bunch of different things.
Like, you could get one for like $1,000 to like $20,000.
Legit,
just depends.
Legit. Yeah. And experience is a big part of that.
Experience, branding, marketing.
What their initiative is. I know we talked about exposure before, but I could literally go and shoot a wedding for free if I really wanted to. I'm not saying I would, but there's a lot of people out there who would charge different prices. But the part that bothers me when people say to me, oh, Kartik, I'll be honest with you, it's great what you're charging. It's a bit out of our budget. So-and-so is charging this much. Yep. In my mind, all I want to say with to that is you should go with them. Like, why are you asking me then? Go with them. Yeah. The part that I think, and not everyone is going to resonate with this, and that's fine. The part that I think I'm more passionate about is I want the client who's more appreciative of quality over price to come to our doorsteps, right? Maybe, I don't know if you're the same to that. Yeah. And I think for me, it's about going, if someone really values who you are, as a vendor, as a creative, as someone within a field that you have a particular niche and talent in, they would respect your service to an extent where they'll go, okay, I've asked once. I think it's valid that this person can't give a discount. Maybe they have give a discount. Maybe they've added extra on like services that we didn't really ask for, but hey, it's good to have. And so I'm just going to politely understand that this is probably the best prices they can do. And and I think that's something that isn't really talked about within this space too often. And not a lot of people understand this etiquette. So I'm glad that we're doing this podcast, because I think it gets us to express this side of the opinion to clients who inquire whenever they're sort of looking at wedding photography.
Now, what's the worst number of times you've had someone ask you for your price? Like, haggle you on price? If you had to say, okay, we're saying once is like normal, right? Twice, you kind of like, right? Once it reaches like 3 times, it's like, yeah, this is definitely probably not a good idea to take on this wedding.
I would say about 4 or 5 times.
5 times, yeah.
Something like that. What about you?
I think 3, 4. Usually like max 3. I don't think I've had anyone ask like 5 times.
I'm a bit... Yeah, maybe it wasn't 5, could be less. I can't remember, but it was more than just the once or twice. I definitely know that much. Yeah. And I think for me, again, like, we have shot weddings a lot for several years now, and I've realized whenever I've had clients in the past that I've taken on who have been a bit more with price, I've not had the best experience. and they weren't my client to begin with, and I shouldn't have taken them.
Yep.
Now, only in hindsight would I figure that out. Like I wouldn't have known that, Obviously. Before the fact. Yeah. So
because a lot of times, people that like haggle you on price, like even like 3, 4, 5 times, like when they're booking, they're really nice people. They're really lovely to talk to, friendly. And you think like this is going to be like an amazing wedding,
so
right?
kind.
And to be honest, like half the time it is.
And it always makes you feel shit because I'm like, I really kind of want to give this to you, but I can't.
But like, okay, what I can say is like people that have haggled, not all of them have been red flag for me. Right?
No, yeah.
But I'd say like there's the percentage chance of that goes up being like a red flag.
Yeah,
because I've had a few where they've haggled and then it just ended up being like a very, very bad experience for me.
Yeah.
Because they were just turned out to be one of those people who are just not happy with anything, that kind of stuff, right? So this is not like 100% rule that if anyone haggles with you is going to be a red flag client, but I'd say it's like the percentage chances goes up.
And I'm not, by the way, for viewers listening to this and fuming right now, who's been a client who's getting married, who has asked their photographer for a best price or videographer or any vendor for a best price. We're not having to go at you, but first of all, by the way. Second of all, it's very socially acceptable to ask for a discount.
Especially in Southeast Asian weddings.
Especially with Southeast Asian weddings. But also knowing the fact there are hidden rules that you can sort of have these conversations with a vendor like us as opposed to maybe a venue. Venue's going to be like, well, no, this is the standard price.
I'd say people do it with venues as well.
Oh, do they? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. But
I would say 100%.
Okay.
Because like venues like charge like shit ton. And
maybe,
I feel like, you know what venues would do? I don't do this, but I think a lot of other photographers and maybe venues would do this as well. They like quote 10% extra to start off with because they know like people of like the Indian
slightly
background or whatever, they're always gonna like haggle. And then when they haggle,
like
the people feel like
10%,
10%, 20%, whatever. Like they feel like, oh, they've got a discount, but you really haven't.
Maybe it's an inflated price to begin with when they deal with certain ethnicities. That's interesting.
And the thing is, like, I felt like I dealt with stuff like that when I was looking for my wedding venues. Right? You would see a lot of people would be like willing to be like, oh yeah, we'll take this off, but then you can just
kind of tell that
you can feel
was
like
way too easy.
That was way too easy. It's like you've already inflated it in the start.
Whenever someone says to me, and this is kind of what I do, it's like, hey, is there a best price to this? Usually one of the things that I might, and for anyone, by the way, like take this as a little golden nugget if you ever inquire with me. Usually one of the things that I could do in good faith, going, hey, look, unfortunately, I can't discount the price, but one of your pre-wedding events has 200 guests. You might need an extra photographer that I can chuck that in for free. I won't charge you for that. Usually I'll have a standard fee for that.
What you everyone's gonna ask for?
Guys,
you might want to cut this out of this.
Might want to cut this out. I in good faith, that's something that I could do. And again, it's just contextual, right? I'm not saying this is a blanket rule, just for anyone listening.
I mean, that's what they think.
I mean, maybe not, maybe I don't know. Yeah. But it is something that I don't mind doing in good faith. Or I know some people chuck in extra stuff like a free photo shoot, a couple shoot or something like that. And whether that's party package or not, to each their own. But rather than going, okay, here's a discount in price, maybe it's going, okay, cool, I can just give you things that you might want to have, like a canvas or like quick turnaround edits or something for the next day. Yeah. But with this point particular, I think we've dived on this a lot, but I'm not saying don't ask for a best price. I think it's very normal, and tomorrow if I ever get married, I'd probably do the exact same thing. But understand that once someone has said no to you, I don't fully think it's worth going back there again and again and again, because if you're doing that, first of all, they might not be the best fit for you, and you might not be the best fit for them if you're a photographer listening to this. And second of all, I just think you should respect that business owner enough to go, okay, I've asked this person once, they've said no, that's fine. Either now I have a choice to make. Do I go with this person or do I find somebody else within my budget?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True. I think so. And now this is a weird one, the third point, right? What do you think about people that bring their parents with them?
Nah.
Right?
Nah.
Like, have you had that?
Oh, yep. I'm not happy.
Let me just finish this point. People are like, what the fuck is he even talking about, right? So we're talking about brides and grooms that contact you, and then during the consultation phase, they bring their parents with them to talk to you instead of talking themselves.
I feel something right now. I remember I used to do this a lot. Yeah. I don't know if you did.
I did. And bro, I'm telling you, like, I would at least like, this. By the way, this doesn't happen a lot with me, which I'm very happy with. But at least like 50%, I would say close to 50% of the people that have done this have turned out to be red flag clients to me.
Oh yeah.
This is the big one.
Yeah, proper.
Yeah. Because you know what this shows? Like, you're not making decisions regarding your own wedding, And so during the whole wedding phase, I'm going to not only have to deal with you, but I'm going to have to deal with your parents.
There's a bit to be said on this one.
And parents always want like something that the couple don't want. And now there's like that thing where who do I satisfy? Do I satisfy the parent?
Yeah.
Do I satisfy the couple?
Too many cooks in the kitchen, really confusing. There's a bit to be said about this. I'm very passionate about this. So the first thing, just to caveat and just to challenge that point, it might be difficult, and we could run into this a lot, depending on who pays for the wedding. So that's number one. I can guarantee you there are a lot of South Asian couples out there right now, and they're probably understanding how expensive this shit is. They know that they probably can't afford everything on their own. Fair enough. We're in a day and age financially in this economy that shit is just expensive. Prices have gone up. I get it. So parents might want to jump in. When they jump in, that becomes a bit problematic financially. But also, who has the final say? Because if I have someone go to me, hey, I need you to help me out financially here, that to me tells me I might have a bit of leeway on something, right? Just as a blanket rule. So there are a few times where we've had contracts signed by the couples, but couples' parents have paid for it. And this is a separate...
But I think that's like quite normal.
Quite normal, but then sometimes it opens the floodgates for parents to jump in when they start understanding what the expectations are. Even though the client who's actually getting married signed our contract, the parents think that they have a bit of leeway. There are a lot of times where I've, at my start of my career, used to get invited to people's homes.
Oh, bro, that's the worst. And
bro, I didn't know. And
bro,
I'm like...
This actually reminds me of a story.
Is it?
That happened with me.
Yeah.
And this is like early days. Like when I was getting into weddings, I'd say like 2015, 2016, maybe around there, right? So I was maybe like a year or two into doing weddings. And bro, this bride goes, hey, can you come over our place?
And you went. And you went.
And she goes, my parents want to talk to you about the package or whatever, right? No. Now, if you're like starting out and you've never really dealt with people, like, okay, now if we ever need to talk to parents, like, and I've done this in the last year, it's fine. Like, it's annoying, but you're not like, it's not like we're nervous.
No,
we just stick to our guns, bro. Yeah. I went over this house and bro, I was like, my heartbeat was like up. I'm like,
you were working out, but you weren't working out.
My heartbeat was I'm like starting to sweat a little bit.
They were grilling you or something?
Bro, they were like literally like, it was literally like a job interview, right? Job interview vibes.
Why should we get you to hire? Bro, why should we get you to photograph our daughter's wedding, our son's wedding, or whatever?
And at that point, I was like desperate for work because I'm like, this is I'm starting out or whatever, right? So you're literally trying to say whatever they want to hear, do whatever you want to. Like,
you were saying everything. You were selling yourself. You were that little bitch. Yeah, but you were like, oh, fair, I'll take it. But
what that ends up coming across as is that you're unprofessional and you're like, and I didn't end up booking that wedding. Like, they never got back to me.
Oh, really?
I went all the way to like freaking, I don't know, like Epping or something, right? Did all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was a proper like 45-minute job interview type vibe, right?
Yeah. I remember my story to that is this was so uncomfortable for me. But again, very early on in my career, and I was like, oh, okay, like, sure, I'll just go to people's houses and that's fine. I remember like one of my first few weddings, South Asian client, of course, and met the guy and the guy's father at their house, and I was nervous. I was shit scared. I was a little bitch, and I was like, fuck, like these guys are really grilling me. And the dad, he's sitting like this. He's just looking at me like I'm gonna break this guy. Like he's trying to crack me, and I'm like, I'm already cracked because I'm a little bitch. And basically, he's like, oh, beta, I don't know. This package doesn't make sense to me. I don't think this is what you should be charging. And I'm like, how do I respond to that? Like, someone's telling me I don't think this is what you should be charging.
Now, if you got that now, what would your response be?
I wouldn't even be in that room to begin with. I'd be like,
if you got that, let's say via video call or whatever. If someone says,
as in from the groom or from the groom's?
Let's say from the groom's dad.
Yeah.
What would you respond to that now?
I'd be like, oh, okay, well,
but like, okay, not in like a sarcastic or whatever, but like genuinely, what would you say?
I would, politely, I'd be like, oh, thank you for your feedback, uncle. Appreciate that. That's legit. That's very passive aggressive on my behalf. That's legit what I would say.
Okay.
Because first of all, who the F are you? You don't know what the F I charge. You don't know what the F the industry charges. Are you a wedding photographer?
It's that like Indian mentality, right? Because I think like if you're growing up there, you're like, oh, we gotta like keep haggling, keep bringing it down.
Yeah, I know.
Keep breaking. Because I think what the mentality is like for uncles is like, these guys want our business no matter how, and we're gonna like just keep pushing, right?
You know what it is? This is the narrative. This is legit. This is the narrative. South Asian parents are going, you need me more than I need you.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas now, and I think this is due to confidence and a bit of understanding on how to run a business. Now my understanding is, no. You need me more than I need you. Because tomorrow I'll get another client, but there's only...
also like just difference in where you've grown up.
Yeah.
Right? It's just different culture.
Yeah,
like here
for
people
sure.
like appreciate
for sure
the vendors way more than I feel
for
like
sure.
they would do back then.
And that's why I remember when I was in this house, I was bitching it. Because I was being grilled. I was being like... Almost my integrity and my authority as a business owner was being questioned. Not so much about my whole servicing as a photographer. Like who I was as a person was on the question. And I'm like, fuck, this is bad. Yeah. I've had so many times where this is how they get you. They're like, my parents would want you to come by because, they want to meet you. Come by for chai. Yeah. Like just have chai at ours. Yeah, bro, I ain't having chai for shit. Yeah. Nah, you can't. I'm not coming. I'm not coming. You can't make me come for chai. Despite
I'll make my own chai and I'll video call you. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah. I'll be like, let's do a Skype call. I'll just have my own chai in the corner. Let's just chat. Virtually.
I think that's what I do now. I think mostly just if most couples probably don't even like the ones I book anyway. It's very normal. I'd say maybe 50 to 60% of the couples that don't even talk to me on the phone before booking. And it'll just be like an email communication. And the thing is, this couple's already seen me work at another wedding. They're usually friends with another bride and groom already shot, right? And I'll probably already talk to them at a wedding. So it's like they already know.
Yeah.
Like, they like the work. They like how I operate on the day, everything, whatever, right? So, and then the other 30, 40% that do want to meet, they either have to come to my place or I'm happy to do a video call.
Yeah. By the way,
I ain't going to no one's house, bro.
Yeah. Look, I'm not. Again, if any of you are listening to this, I'm not trying to say, by the way, if your parents ever speak to us, I'm going to be mad pissed. No. But again, we talk about etiquette. We talk about just that understanding. The couples are my clients. The couple's parents aren't my clients. I'm happy for answering any questions, by the way. Like, that's totally normal. But what I would appreciate is if the couple's like parents tell the couples those questions. So like,
so you're only dealing with one person.
Yeah, so I only deal with one person. But that information is relayed back to the parents. I can understand how parents want to have a direct line of contact with the photographer, but I don't think that's necessary. I think you can go through your kids, as in the couples getting married, ask and tell them any concerns they might have. Also, couples themselves would appreciate that, right? Because it's their day. They don't want to have their parents speaking to all their vendors, scaring them and pissing them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to add to your point, I've had, I can think of in the last like 2 years, I've had maybe like 5-6 times this has happened to me. And bro, like 3-4 of those weddings ended up being amazing. I didn't have any issues. Like I did meet the parents. Like I didn't. I think one of the mums came over with the bride a couple of times. I think her dad came over once. No issues at all. Wonderful clients. But once again, I think this is all about ratios here.
Yeah, like, not every couple's parents
that does this is going to be like that. So which is why I give it the benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt, sure.
But it gives me like a little thing in the back on my head. I'm like, I was like, is this going to be one of those weddings?
I don't like it. I don't like it. And mind you, there are some wonderful. I think you shot a wedding with me, and I swear to God, the mum had it in for me. She loved me. I remember you. I know exactly.
Oh,
There's this auntie. I won't drop her name. But I also love this auntie. She's alright. But she also invited me over to her house, by the way, and I went and did all the consult stuff, signed the contract, whatever. But she did haggle, by the way. She tried. She really tried. And she was so nice to me about it the entire time. But anyways, throughout the entire wedding week, she loved me.
I think she wanted you to like marry one of her daughters or something, bro. Legit. Not even joking.
She said to me, and I quote, she's like, I love your energy, man. That's how she said it. She's like, I love your energy, man. I don't know whether the accent came through, but she said it in such a really lovely way. And she was a really nice auntie. She was a really nice auntie. Yeah. She genuinely loved me. But it makes it hard, again, like to deal with people's parents all the time. Fuck, that was a long one. That was a solid point though. Let's go on to the next one.
I feel like the next point on this list is when someone is asking you too many questions about like the technical side of things, right? And you may...
Give me an example of what
the example of that is like I had a guy who comes to me, writes me an email, and he's like, what brand of camera do you use? Yeah? Hold on. All right. What brand of camera you use? How many megapixels is your camera?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah?
Here we go.
Do you give raw photos? Yeah? And that was just like, I've only put like 3 things. This guy wrote about maybe like 12, 15 different things.
I'm out.
That he asked.
I'm out. I can't. I'm out. Don't care how much you pay me. I'm out.
And you know why I'm out? Because look at my work. And I'm happy to even send you full galleries to look through or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But don't ask me what camera I'm using to take photos. Like, what does that have anything to do with? Right? Or like,
the part that I wanted to challenge you on is: do you think that person was like an enthusiast?
Potentially,
yeah.
Because that, and also, I mean, I get it. So maybe like he wants to know how many megapixels I'm using because he wants to like blow up some prints or something. Yeah, but these days, like, every photographer I know is using at least like 24 megapixel cameras, right?
Minimum.
Which is like, according to me, like 24, 25 is like the sweet spot for weddings, where you don't get like enough. The file sizes are good, but you also get really good resolution, right? But comes from a guy who's using like 60 megapixels.
Okay, bro. No worries, bro. 60 megapixels, bro.
But what I mean is like these kind of questions shouldn't really matter to a couple. Like what does it matter what brand of camera I'm using?
I'm thinking here because I'm a photographer. Also, I would never photograph another photographer's wedding. I probably wouldn't. I just don't want to do it because if I know what I would look for, I reckon I'd be the worst client. Because
having said that, we did one recently. Siobhan, and that ended up being very chill.
Oh yeah,
like that.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah. Right? So we shot his wedding together. He's a ex-photographer.
He's an ex-photographer. He was
not sure if he still does it. I don't think so.
I'm not too sure. But he should. You're right.
Turned out being very chill.
True.
It was a very chill wedding. Didn't have any issues.
Yeah, maybe there are some who are actually alright.
But it gives you, I feel like the chances of that goes up high when you're photographing. And if there is another photographer listening to this who's potentially going to be our future client in the future, I can only say like you got to trust.
You got to trust
your photographer.
Trust the photographer. Yeah. No different from how your clients trust you.
Because you got to put yourself in our shoes. Imagine like if we tell you like micromanage every little thing. I get it, it's a wedding, but the main thing you want to do at your wedding is just enjoy it.
Yeah. So
you don't want to worry about what angles, what lighting, all that shit. Like leave that to your photographer.
Yeah. Whenever I start getting, so there's a standard format of questions that we'd get asked. How many hours is your package? What does it include? What are the deliverables? What's your turnaround time? I don't know. Do you edit the photos? Hey, is this included in your pre-shoot? Like these are the standard lines of questions we get. Yeah. As soon as that conversation goes off path slightly by not one, not two, but maybe 20 conversations or 20 questions, I'm a bit you know what I mean? And that to your point, how many megapixels are the cameras? What brand are the cameras? What SD cards do you use? Are the SD cards reliable? What's your post workflow situation? What editing software do you use? How long do you spend on each? Like, see how it's a bit different from the main line? Like that to me is, you're a bit particular, and I'm not demonizing you. Not really. No, I'm not saying you're a dick. I'm just saying you're very thorough, but that's not usually the line of questions that we would typically get. And whenever I have come across people that I have asked those questions, I'm a bit I'm a bit particular with it because I don't want to take on someone who I think, to your point, would either micromanage me, be very particular about the entire service of what it is that I do, that I don't feel like I have the creative space to do things in my own sort of capacity. That makes sense? Yeah.
The last thing you want while you're shooting a wedding is like someone like trying to like restrict you creatively, right? Because if someone's literally telling you, can you take this angle? Can you stand there? Can we get this? Like, it kind of breaks your flow, because a lot of times when we shoot like weddings, it's like a flow thing, right? Like you're in a flow, your mind's working over time. I got to do this next. I got to do that next. Now, if someone's constantly interrupting you, and I get it, they're a photographer. It's gonna like break your flow, and you might not even end up doing a good of a job that you normally would do.
One of the oddest requests I got. I remember having a bride, and I do want to tread cautiously on this particular topic for good reason, but she said that, I want you to take a photo from a particular angle every single time because I want to avoid my double chin. Now, that to me, I don't know how to fully respond to that because
So all the photos she wanted you to take on her wedding
upper
day.
angle. So if I'm literally like mid eye level here, she wants me to be slightly elevated each time. Each time. Now the problem with that,
do you think this is also the case for people that ask for like a certain side of their face all the time? So they want to literally be on the certain.
I see. I can give all the time. All the time is a bit of a.
All the time is a bit of a stretch. I do get people that do that, and I'll keep it in mind.
Keep it in mind, sure.
Yeah,
but this comes down to
there's going to be photos that are not on that angle.
What I do during the post-wedding photo shoot or like the pre-wedding photo shoot sometimes where we go out for a couple of hours, I can take that feedback on board. Like that's fine. But when we come to general events coverage and I can't control which way you're looking if you're looking at a particular way, and now you're saying, but now you want me to shoot from the other angle.
No,
that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Especially on a day where the more important thing is to not miss the moment rather than worrying about what angle you're taking the photo from. Like a lot of things just happen once.
Correct.
You can't do it again on a wedding day, right?
Yeah. And that's the part where I was like, I don't know how I feel about this whole upper angle thing. And I don't even know how I diffused that conversation, but all I said is, okay, I can keep it at the back of my mind, but I never took the client.
Knowing you probably took like lower angle of everything.
No, I didn't even take I do that a lot, actually, to be honest. Like, I actually shoot really wide sometimes. And you see me do this.
I've seen this really,
really low shots. Just looks sick.
You can't do none of those at this wedding, bro.
No, fam, I'm out. I can't do that shit. But I never took the client. I never took the client because I was like, I've never had someone say to me before that I want every angle, upper angle elevated to avoid my double chin.
Quick question. What do you think about people that say, hey, Kartik, really love your work, right? Really love your work. You're very handsome.
Thanks, Mom.
And very beautiful.
Oh, right? Please.
Almost like a hunk. Get
to the fucking point.
But
here we go.
We want you to edit your photos like another photographer.
Okay. Thank you for buttering them up, but no. Fuck right off.
Yeah.
No.
So this person has come to your page.
Yeah.
They've seen what your photos look like, what the preset that you apply, what the look is, whatever. And they've basically come back saying, hey, we prefer this other photographer who's... The only way I can think of why someone would do this is because the other photographer is now out of the price range, right?
I'd be like...
Or is unavailable.
I'd be like, then go to that fucking photographer. Don't ask me.
But we want you to edit like that photographer. Have you had that?
Okay. Here's the thing. And I have to respond with some level of diplomatic behavior on this one because there is a fine line and I'm not saying you cannot send inspiration to your photographer. You as sure as shit got this as a videographer as well.
All the time.
And I know I get this as a photographer all the time. Where, yes, it's okay to get inspo shots. Yes, it's okay to get references. Yes, it's okay to get poses from other photos that are currently online. That's fine. But when you go to someone, I want you to change your entire ethos, your entire branding, your entire look to that look, to that photographer's style, to that editing thing. No. No. You can't do it. Like, I can't. I refuse. I passionately refuse.
The only way I can think of this is like they are expecting something else which you have never delivered according to your page, right? Potentially even like... I don't know if it's about they're expecting like a certain amount of quality for like a lower price. I don't know if that comes to mind. Like this might happen to like maybe like new photographers where a couple comes and sends them photos of like an established high-end photographer, and they're like, "Can you edit like this?
Yeah, can you do stuff like this?"
But they're gonna pay them like 1/10 of what
like crumbs, peanuts. I think. Look, I don't think the conversation should be, can you edit like this? I think the conversation should be, why are we going to someone who's not delivering that in the first place? Like, let's just stop that in its tracks, because then you stop the client from getting disappointed when they realize the photographer can't edit like that. You stop the photographer from getting hurt when they realize that, fuck, I've just fucked up. I've taken on a client who wants me to do something I just don't do. There are photographers literally out there that do bright and airy shots, right? Very, very good exposure, a little bit higher on the exposure side. And in contrast to that, photographers out there who do constant dark and moody shots.
And then you like couples going to like the media photographer being like, can you make all our photos bright?
Why? Yeah. Why would you do that, man? That's like, you don't do that. You know?
That's
that
their
fucking
style.
triggers me. No, like you should as a client respect the fact that this person has a look and feel. You don't go to a Thai restaurant and go, can you make me Mexican? No, you go there to eat Mexican, like Thai food. You know what I mean? Yeah. You go to a Thai restaurant to eat Thai food. You can't go to a photographer who does dark shots to go, give me bright shots. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. I just think people get that narrative confused because they know that photography is such a subjective thing, and that's okay. Like that's genuinely okay. You can ask these things, but ask as a reference to a few images. Your entire gallery should not look like something completely different. You know what I mean? What about you? How do you do with that when you? Because obviously you do video. Yeah, you do video all the time,
bro. Video. The worst thing is, and this is a tip to couples who are ever going to send inspo to their videographers or photographers, wherever, right? Please don't send inspo of like, I don't know, like Priyanka Chopra's wedding, right? That happened in like Italy or something, right?
But your wedding's in Blacktown or fucking Madison Jewel Center.
But you're literally getting married in like Bowman Hall or something, right? No shade to Bowman Hall. Like, it's fine,
no shit, because Bowman Hall, you OG, bruh.
Yeah,
OG. You OG. Bowman Hall is fucking where it's at.
Bruh, like, I've had this. Like, I've legit had this. I've had brides send me inspo videos of like celebrity weddings, right? And I already know that their wedding is going to be nothing like this, right? Not even the right location, not the right budget, whatever. But the expectations are like, make my wedding look like, you know, Priyanka Chopra's wedding or like, you know, Deepika Padukone's wedding or something like that. Like, I'm like, bruh, that shit ain't happening, right?
Oh, I can't. And then they give you some wish.com fucking B-grade venue. Some outfit that looks like it was designed on Etsy. Some fucking groom that doesn't know how to fucking tie a tie or like wear for proper clothes.
And on top, there's like no chemistry with like the bride and groom, right, like, on the day.
Yeah.
Like, and then like I think this is like in the head of, you know what? I blame this on like Bollywood movies.
Bollywood, this is your fault. Bollywood, you fucked videographers and photographers up for weddings. I guarantee you fucked everything up.
Yeah. And why? Because like now you got like people coming and people watching these Bollywood films that have had like, this moment, like, you know, I'm going to have this moment of wedding day, right? And in return, like, your wedding is like nothing like that at all.
You don't. This is a problem with Disney as well, by the way. Side conversation.
True.
It's glamorized. I
think it's not Bollywood. It's just like movies in general. Yeah.
Everything is glamorized when you look at celebrities and you look at high production values and another country where a wedding was probably happening in.
Mind you, probably they're looking at like celebrities that had like 10 takes of each thing, right?
Not only that, but like they're probably spending
a proper script,
like $100,000 more than what you would be on your wedding. Yeah. Like not millions even, right? It blows my mind.
Like 10 videographers filming the same wedding from different angles.
Like I've had brides send me designer outfits on celebrities and they wear the complete opposite. Now, cool, that's fine. You do you, boo. You wear something else that's not designer. I'm not having a go at you. But don't send me shit that is just not realistic to you. Don't send me a massive trailed like chunni or dupatta when you don't even have one in the first place.
When you don't have a trail, but then you send inspo photos of like trails.
Like, sending inspo is great. I love inspo. I love it when people send it. But the only point that Manav and I try to make here is just be a bit more realistic with it. I'm so triggered because we get this all the time and we get clients who send us inspo and assume that we can deliver upon that. And now, if it's very realistic to what you're actually having, okay, I can work with that. That's my job. I should try and match your inspiration. But to the earlier point is if you're sending me shit, then expecting it to be that when you're not even putting in your effort from your end, I can't help you with that. But then also editing, right? Like if it's something that I just do not do, like for instance, I've had clients send me high-end fashion retouching, and we've talked about when people, do you want to like these ones?
Okay.
And like, when you see a macro
don't watch the video. That are people that are listening to this on audio. That was
but they do want to like
retarded.
They do one of these ones, right? Okay. And you see a very high.
I'm glad you're a photographer. Thanks, you're not a model.
I'll never quit my day job. But you see some high-end shit going on, right? And you know that image has been zoomed upon zoomed and edited literally pixel by pixel. That's called high-end retouching, right? And photographers spend days on one image. That is not happening for a wedding photo. That's not happening.
Yep.
So that's why I would just say, like, be a bit realistic with what you send your photographers, and hopefully we haven't pissed you off at this point, because I know
you're pretty triggered right now, but I'm about to tell you something that's probably going to trigger you even more.
Right, come at me. Yeah. Come at me, because right now, let's freaking go.
Right?
Let's debunk this
Have you ever had someone who's like, can you edit your contract?
Okay. If I could leave right now, I would. That's how triggered I am. But yes. Have you?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel? How do you feel about it?
Now there's two ways about this.
Okay.
One is if they come back and it's like, hey, we don't want our photos to be public.
Acceptable.
Right? That's fine. Can you take out the clause out of your contract which says that you can share your photos online?
Very acceptable.
Very easy to do.
I think that's the privacy clause or something.
And we charge extra.
It's the intellectual property right clause. I think
and we charge extra for that. Normally,
we charge extra for that.
That's fine, right?
Not every photographer does that, by the way. Just so read your contract.
I would say majority of them probably do.
Some of them do.
Most of the established ones would. I would say
100% they do. 100% they do.
Because now people are thinking, why are you charging extra just because you don't want to post online? I think we've already discussed this in one of the older podcast
episode.
But I'm just gonna like summarize it. Basically, we get all our work by sharing photos and videos online, right? And that's mostly just word of mouth or just like on socials or whatever, right? Now, if we shoot a wedding and then we can't share it online, we're potentially losing out on future clients, right? And now there's a fee to that, right?
That's why.
That's just putting it like the most.
And if that's if that's an unreasonable fee, that I respect.
That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. Find somebody else who maybe is okay with that, right? But you might find that's a common thing across the board. Like a lot of people kind of do that, which is very normal. But apart from that, if you're going through line by line on my contract and going, what's this? How does that work? Can we take this out? I need you to renegotiate this. This has to be included.
Hey, Kartik.
No. No. Don't say it.
Hold on. I'm going to be a groom right now, yeah? So, Kartik, we looked at your contract and we don't like the clause that you have in there which says that we got to give you food on the wedding day, yeah? And can you delete that?
No. Give me food.
I think this is one of the most triggering things I can't think of. This is like a whole episode of this.
I'm so constantly triggered right now. Next episode I won't be, I promise. I'll be a bit more.
And if you haven't checked out, check out the one we did. I think it's like episode 4, 5 or whatever, which is about should
photographers get food
at the reception, right? Yeah. That was literally just the whole episode filled with you just raging over food. But
look, if
back to the contract
part. No, I wouldn't. That part, no, I wouldn't.
Have you had people
take out stuff from my contract?
Stuff?
For the food one, I've had maybe twice.
Yeah.
The privacy clause I've had a few times.
Anything else?
No. I think I've had people reiterate things on post-wedding workflow, timeline deliveries, the number of photos, and which I never write how many photos someone's going to get. Like if someone wants me to write in their contract, we want 2,000 photos every single event, and you've got to.
No, I actually had one very recently. The guy, the way even the inquiry started, the guy's like, we want coverage for this many hours at this event, minimum these many photos at each event. Oh. And I'm thinking like, look, normally I'm probably going to end up shooting more than what your minimum is anyway. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But there's no guarantee. Because obviously the number of photos depend on the amount of shit that's happening on the wedding day, right?
I find it so funny when people go, hey, how many photos are we
minimum number of photos.
And I'm like, look, my standard response to that, which is very true. This is my standard response. Like, hey, I can't really guarantee how many photos you're going to get, but I can assure
I'll
you.
just make sure I cover everything properly.
I'll assure you that everything will be covered, because I've never had a client that said, do you have any more photos? I've always overshot.
Like nothing's going to get missed?
Nothing's going to get missed, no. Like,
but you can't guarantee your photo number.
A particular number count. And I swear to God, I've had couples who think that because they have this glamorized big event that you'll have a lot of photos, if nothing's happening, and I've got my candidates for the day, I may not be working the entire time. But I've had home weddings, small home events, where so much was happening. And I'm like, bro, there's so much to capture here. So I think it really depends. But that's why I never say in my contract how many numbers of photos you're going to get. I always have a very open conversation about that and make sure I manage their expectations. But I can't ever put that in my contract, because then I'm shooting myself in the foot. Apart from those things, I don't know if there's any other things that would come in my contract. What about you? Is there anything else?
I think that's about it.
Pretty much it.
Just,
pretty much.
But another thing that comes to mind though is, what do you think about people? I think you told me a while ago this might be a thing with you where you had people that were not very polite, or And that's like a... Obviously, we're talking about different red flags. I think this is the next one. During consultation, if someone is not very polite to you.
I say this to
has like some sort of attitude.
I say this to you, and I know that we don't see eye to eye on this, but I'm an energies person. It's a bit heebie-jeebie, but I'm an energies person.
No, I think...
Are you an energies person?
I mean, I wouldn't say like it's to your level, but...
What do you mean to my level? Like, when you say to someone, oh, that person had really good energy.
Yeah. I get that from people.
Okay,
but
so you are an energy person.
I don't like emphasize that. Though. Like that's not the main thing that I think about.
It's okay. You know what? You can replace the word energy with vibe or feeling. All right. Does that make it better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm an energies person, which what that means is if I get a good feeling from something or someone, it encourages me to pursue that. That's not just through people.
I think that's just human beings in general, right?
Yeah. But the same concept can be discussed within a consult. If someone is speaking to me with politeness, with kindness, with empathy, and they're joking and they're laughing,
they're just fun to
talk to.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to be an extrovert. No, I'm just saying like have fun. Like this is your wedding. Like enjoy.
And
it,
mind
right?
you, like I've had some wonderful couples who have not been fun to talk to on the consultation day as well. It was just like straight to the point. It's fine. Like
it's It's so funny. Yesterday, I literally had a consult call, and I know this client will never take me, and that's okay.
Why do you think that?
And I'll tell you why. First of all, price. First thing. And again, I'm not saying that's bad, but it was the first question that was asked. So, hey, thanks so much for joining me in this consult call, guys. How I like to do this, I'll just explain how it all works. Oh, sorry, Kartik, we just want to know, is that your final price? Cuts me off within the first, 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, usually this consult takes about half an hour. That conversation...
Thanks for making this short for me.
Yeah. I'm like, usually that question is asked at the end.
Yeah.
So that was the first question. And then the second thing was just the monotoned conversation. They didn't seem very enthusiastic. And I'm not saying, again, be the most passionate person about wedding photography that you're going to have for your big day. No. But have the personality there. Like, I'm trying to connect with you. I'm trying to build rapport with you. I realized that at the end of that convo, which was very short, by the way, this was not my ideal client. Like, I didn't feel that we vibed or connected. But to your point about the whole attitude and politeness part, have you ever had clients who just speak to you with not so much disrespect, but it's just bluntly obvious that this person doesn't seem like a kind person?
No, I wouldn't say like they were rude, but I've had a couple where you feel like they're doing you a favor by booking you.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like...
You can tell.
You can tell by the way they talk, right? Yeah. And I just said straight up no to those people.
Yeah, for me, this should have probably been the first red flag point is if someone's just not a good human being, and you can tell the qualities of what makes a genuinely good human being. And of course, a half an hour consult call might not be an accurate representation of who somebody really is.
They might even just be having a bad day.
Maybe you caught them on a bad day. But if you're doing evidential things, by the way, that's things like you're bitching about other people.
I think that's a big one.
That's a big one.
Because the way I look at this is like if someone's willing to gossip about another vendor to you, they're going to gossip to others
same
about
shit
you.
To others about you. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That is a red flag. Not just, let's just take photography out of this, just human perspective, first of all. If someone who like gossips, I personally I'm not a fan of that. Yeah. But you just met me and you're talking shit to me like about other people.
Someone else you didn't want to book?
In the industry even, right? Maybe colleagues that I've shared this space with. People who I've admired as my seniors for a long time. And you're coming into this space that I operate in and you're bad-mouthing other people, not even photographers, other vendors, by the way, hair and makeup artists, jewelry people, decor, venue owners, right? If you're saying a whole bunch of unreasonable things, I think we just got to know each other and this is what you're saying. I don't know. That to me is a bit of a, like, I'm not feeling too good about that. Like I'm very just, that doesn't give me good juju vibes. You know what I mean? That's why I'm a bit,
hey, I just met you and this is crazy. I'm going to gossip about other people. So call me, maybe.
I was wondering where the fuck you were taking that. I'm like, that's not what the song is, but that part makes sense now. Thanks for clarifying. That was a bit weird.
My bad.
That'll be the start of the podcast, that part there. That doesn't make sense. But to your point, if someone is gossiping within the first couple of minutes, I don't like that. It's not cool, man. Don't do that shit.
Yeah, I've had that a few times as well. You? And I think I can confirm one or two of them ended up being very, very hard clients to deal with because, still the same question because because they gossip about other people, then they were gossiping. I think I talked about this in the other podcast as well. There's another guy.
You did. The other challenge or red flag, moving on, that I find quite difficult is when people don't go through and actually fill out your contact form and they just the amount of times you get and I get literally on Instagram, hey, how much do you charge?
Yeah.
Legit.
Or just like one date available?
Yes. Like name, date, are you available?
Are you available? Yeah.
No.
You know why?
No.
And you know why? Because people might be like, what do you mean? Because the type of weddings we shoot most of the time are like multi-day events, right? Even there'll be like a wedding and reception on a separate day.
Yeah, correct.
So the least we are expecting when you fill out a contact form is give us your dates. Maybe this is not a must, but like a rough coverage hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And type of other events, like if you have like mehendis, haldies, or whatever, like pre-wedding events, you just give us dates for that. If you provide that in your initial inquiry, this saves both you and us time. Because if you don't do it, guess what? I'm going to be like, hey, can you send me through your dates and times?
I'm going to follow up, and then this is going to be just like prolonged, and we're just going to have this unnecessary back and forth.
Yeah.
I also think it shows a lot about the fact that if a client doesn't take the time of actually going through your website and researching who you are and understanding what your brand is and understanding what type of photos and videos you take, they're not respecting so much of what you fully do. So someone who just asks me straight off the bat on Instagram how much you charge, I'm not really fully going to engage with because you're not my ideal client.
And I don't know about you, but I've put it on my like socials that no DMs, just inquiries via like my website only, right? And I know a lot of makeup artists
even do this as well. They hate the amount of times they get flooded with people saying, hey, how much do you charge?
And by the way, this is not an ego thing. This is simply logistics.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to keep on top of who's inquiring on what date and if your wedding's clashing with another person.
Yep.
If a person's getting to us through our Instagram DMs versus a website. Because every time you contact us through a website, that date, the time, your name, everything gets captured into a CRM that we use, right?
Correct.
And now, if another person inquires on the same date, in the CRM, we're going to have this wedding's clashing with another wedding.
Yep.
Right? All the data is there. Now, if someone contacts me through like a DM and I say to them, like, via Instagram that, hey, I'm available, whatever. And now a month later they come back and now I'm not available because I didn't even know. A month later someone inquired me through Instagram
but that
DMs,
other person actually went through your website and actually filled out your contact form and then it's registered in your system and it's in your calendar and you actually know these things. This is why.
Yeah, this is why.
This is why. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, which is, I can understand, but it's not, I don't want to encourage that behavior. I don't want to encourage people to be like, DM, how much do you charge? Mind you, there are people who will respond to that and engage with that. Fair enough, you do you, boo. I can't. Because for me, someone who values what it is that I've built here will take their time to go through and fill out a contact form, which, by the way, does not take longer than 5 minutes. Literally, date, hours,
name, phone number,
email, all of that stuff, and a little section about tell us about your wedding. And I love that because there are people who genuinely make it a point to actually tell me about their wedding, what things that they have that they're looking forward to, who the person is that they're marrying, a little bit about them even. That's so much more personal for my clients and for me that makes me actually want to go,
hey. Forget about even like telling us who you're marrying. Just give us the dates and times. It's a basic
bare minimum, which people don't even do. It bothers me so much. Like people just get it wrong in the sense that they go, hey, let me just DM this person, say, how much do you charge? Like, bruh, how long's a piece of string? Like, it's such an open-ended question. You cannot answer that. So don't do that if you guys are listening to this.
The next one is, I don't know if you experience this a lot, but a lot of people take a long time to sign your contract. Right?
Yes.
They'll, we've already gone through the inquiry phase. We've had a back and forth. I've given them pricing. They're happy to go ahead. Even they've said that, but then they just don't sign the contract.
All right. You know what? Metaphor analogy time. Because I dropped the cake one last time. You really like that. So hear me out. I swear this one's going to be good.
Go on.
So when you're talking to a chick, right? Just hear me out, please. Hear me out. Just wait. No, please. Or if you're talking to a guy.
For those of you who don't know what I'm doing right now on audio, I'm double face palming me.
No, hear me out. This is so relevant because it's the exact same. I swear to God. I promise you. Brother, listen to me. When you're talking to someone in the online early stages of dating, right? Yeah. Shout out to every single person who's listening to this right now. And
who you've talked to.
Huh?
Who you've talked to online in a day.
Hopefully those people aren't listening to this, or maybe they are, I don't know.
Okay.
But what you don't want is when someone messages you because they want to start a conversation and you respond back, that person then takes 5 days to respond. Bruh, that's not how that shit works, right? You can't date someone, right? And hear me out. I'm going to link the analogy. You can't date someone and have them just ghost you for a week and then come back. And then have them ghost you for 2 weeks and then come back. And then a month and then come back and go, oh, hey, by the way, do you still want to get that coffee? No. Like
you'd probably be like, yes, sure.
Yeah, I probably would. Like,
I mean, if I'm being honest, I didn't get this dating business because I never went. I've never been on apps.
Okay, well,
let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. This is how it sometimes works, right? People would ghost you. People will not follow up, and then eventually they'll come around and be like, oh, hey, by the way, like, it's good to hear from you. Do you want to grab that coffee now?
And
like,
by that time, you're already seeing someone else or whatever?
Might be seeing someone, or you're probably you've just showed me inconsistent behavior. Okay. Now that I say that, let me bring this back to wedding photography.
Tell me how this works.
I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. Wedding photography and videography is the exact same. A client will message you, filling out your contact form. So let's just assume they even do that. But then you've gone back and forth with them a little bit.
They're happy with the price.
You're happy with the price.
They're ready to lock it in.
They're ready to lock it in.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, let me send you the link to my contract. You send them the contract.
Then
crickets.
Nothing happens. Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah. I've had that a few times.
Yeah. And then you follow up even because you're a good human being, right? You follow up with a chick. You're like, hey, just haven't heard from you in a while. Like, just thinking you're alive. And then they don't respond. I mean, maybe not at that extreme, but sure. And then they don't respond to you. How does it make you feel? Your time isn't as appreciated. They clearly think maybe responding back to you isn't a priority. So you're not valued.
Now, I think why would this happen? Is it number one that they think that that would come to my mind is that they even aren't sure about the hours maybe, or they're not sure the dates are changing. There must be shit going in the background where their venues are having issues or whatever, right?
Just assume.
That's the one thing. Second one would be just like that they're lazy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna answer this, right? Let's just assume, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Life's happening. And I'm just going to borderline leave it as life's happening. That could mean you've gone through something. You don't know what your hours are. I don't know, fucking your best friend's in hospital. Your partner's maybe dying, God forbid, because that'd be a big problem.
This is like gone a bit off the rails.
Hear me out. Life's happening, which means you're just not prioritizing emails right now. Blanket. So not just me, everyone cops it, right? And as a vendor, just everyone cops it. That's number one. And then what you just said, number two, is they're probably lazy or they don't prioritize you. But I think the part that...
Or they've booked someone else.
Yeah.
It's happened.
It's like a date. Like some chicks will probably not get back to you and go, I'll say, sorry, I'm actually seeing someone. Bye. It's a thing. I promise you it's a thing. I know you're shaking your head now, but yeah, it's a thing.
Feel sorry for you kids these days.
Yeah,
dating app shit sounds
fucked.
So exhausting.
It's proper fucked.
So exhausting.
Any single person listening to this.
Back in my day, you just like meet at like uni or something. Just hey, you want to be my girlfriend? Just like go on a couple of dates and shit.
Hey,
want to be my girlfriend?
Okay, if that's how it works for you.
No. I mean, like back in the day, it would be like you just go on like a couple of dates or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Not really like you can't really know, or you don't really know it's a date.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you're like, well, this has been happening a while.
Yeah.
Are we like a thing now? Or
can I just make this part into a reel and put this part on the podcast and just put this on socials and people go, how the fuck is this red flag client? No fucking clue. I'm gonna do it. I'm actually gonna do this. But taking this all back, it's just the etiquette, right? If someone inquires with you, then ghosts you, bruh, don't do that, man. Be nice people. Respond. I don't care if you've booked someone. Just let me know. Because
then you can kind of close the lead on your end, right?
Yeah. Someone else can inquire so you can take that booking.
this is getting a bit long now, I think. So I'll just go one more point. Last point, and then we'll wrap it up, right? Yeah. I think the last one that comes to my mind is...
By the way, we better spend the exact same amount of time on red flag photographers just to make this very neutral. Yeah. For those of you who
imagine like this one's like an hour and a half, the other one's like half an hour.
5 minutes. It's like, don't worry about it, not important. For those of you who just maybe came across this episode and thinking, oh, let's just see what these two dickheads have to say, just a bit of context. Every episode that Manav and I do, and you'll understand where I'm taking this, we try and be as neutral with this as possible because we try to look at like both sides. Yeah, we understand from a photographer's perspective, obviously, but we also try and empathize as a client. So if you've just tuned into this episode, understand that there is another episode coming where we are going to be flipping this narrative and talking about the red flags on the exact same as a photographer. Yeah. So if you're a couple getting married, what to look out for in a photographer. Like there are things that you just be like, bro, that's a red flag. Yeah. So don't worry, we're gonna give our shits we're gonna give ourselves shit for this as well. Like
we're gonna give shit to photographers.
Yeah, we're gonna get cancelled so badly.
Right now we've been giving shit to couples.
We're gonna get so much shit from this. And I swear to God, a lot of photographers be like, "Oi, what the fuck, man? Like, why you say that shit about us, bro?" But it's gonna happen, guaranteed. But anyways, last point.
Back to the point. The last point that comes to our mind is too much communication, and I've had this in the past. Yeah, have you had the thing where that video call could have been an email, or that call could have been an email?
Meeting could have been an email. Right? Yeah. I see this in corporate all the time.
And the same thing applies to us when you're booking, right?
Yes.
I've had couples that are like, send me an email, and then they want to jump on a video call. Very normal. Like I'll do like a face consultation. Which is fine. Like obviously you want to see, like you're paying this money to a actual person. It's not like someone's scammer or something on the side, but
someone legit. Yeah.
But when it gets weird is when every time they want to contact you, it's a video call now.
Yeah. No.
Right. No. So second time, like we've done the video call, we've done consultation, and then like, oh, can you jump on another call or a video call with us? I just need to talk about something else. And then third time, oh, can you do another video call? And then my partner needs to come in as well. And then this is like to talk about just the most randomest shit, which is like, which even in email you would be like, oh, what does this have anything to do with like the booking or wedding or whatever, right?
Again, trying to be neutral here. I'm all for rapport building. Yeah. And one of the ways to do that is to have a video call and just shits and giggles. Stuff about nothing to do with weddings. Yeah. But my time is also my time.
Yeah.
If we're just communicating for the sake of, hey, you have a question to ask me and it's a simple question, then you may as well just text it to me or email it to me. Does that need to be a phone call? Look, I don't want people listening to this and going, oh, wait, so that means that no one could ever... No.
Okay, how about, just to make this more understandable, I'm going to be a...
We're role-playing?
We're role-playing.
I like role-plays.
You're going to be a photographer and I'm calling... This is our first consultation call. Hey, Kartik, how you doing?
Nice to meet you. So good to hear from you. How are you?
Yeah, just wanted to check, like, are you available on this date? What are the... we looked at your pricing. Yep. Is there any, like,
Yeah, I'm available. This is my, PDF price guide. It's got everything in there.
Is there any, like, room for a bit of, like,
unfortunately, this is the best price that I can do.
And if we want to add on this many hours, how much would it be?
It'll be just the hourly rate, and then we can tally that up, and then I'll put it in the contract.
Awesome. All right. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks so much. It was really lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I mean, I don't know how you had shake over a video call, but
I mean, just wave.
All right. Now the second next call.
Are we role playing? Okay, cool. Bring.
Hey, how's it going, Kartik?
Hey, how are you? How's it going?
Good. Did you check the cricket score today? Like, what's happening? India lost.
Oh. No, I haven't checked the cricket score. No.
Who are you dating at the moment?
Oh.
I heard you were on the apps.
Oh.
I mean, this is like obviously like on the most. But you get me, like,
it's a bit fucking extreme.
I've had people that are like talking about the most randomest shit on a second or third video call, which has got nothing to do with like wedding booking. Nothing to do with the booking.
Again, I'm not saying you can't have this rapport, personal building with someone, but context, please, context. Like, talk to me about something relevant first, and then when we've done that, hey, by the way, like, do you do this on the side? Or, hey, by the way, this is something that's interesting. Do you relate to that? Yeah. But if you're asking me just out of the blue with no context.
Mind you, like, obviously when you're shooting on the wedding day, it's obviously normal to talk about all the random shit. Like, we talk about the most random shit with couples on the wedding day
all the time. Yeah.
But this is like pre-even booking, right? And you're like this whole video call or a phone call could have just been an email.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Even in email, if someone asks me what's the score of England versus whatever, I'll be like, what the fuck does that have to do with the
try
wedding,
and make the emails even relevant. Yeah. I do agree with that. And I think, Look, like, yes, you should realistically just be punchy. Everyone's time's valuable here. We run businesses. You've got your personal life. I've also got my personal life on top of running my business. And then not only that, but we do this for a living, which means that there's going to be literally hundreds of couples like you who also want to have a consult call, but they respect our time and we respect theirs. And they're not going, by the way, like, let's take out half an hour of our time to just discuss shit. Again, rapport building, separate conversation. I'm not saying don't have that with your clients, and I'm not saying clients can't have that with photographers either. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, understand context, first of all, where the barriers lie. Should communication be via an email as opposed to a phone call? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck. God damn.
I think we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. This is a good one.
I think this is the longest one.
This was
today.
Well, this is probably one of our longest episodes. Yeah. Do we do part one, part two, or nah?
No.
Just one episode, one punchy episode.
I think as long as it's up to like an hour and a half, it's fine to do.
By the way, I'm fully expecting someone.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'm fully expecting someone to DM us.
All 50 of you that are going to watch this.
We're that's what the average download seem to be. All 120 subscribers, or maybe a little bit later at the time this is released. Yeah. I'm fully expecting someone to DM us, be like, "What the fuck yourself? How dare you? Like, who the fuck do you think?" Like, I'm fully expecting someone to do that, but don't do that.
Yeah.
We're just giving one.
Or if you're going to do it, then leave it in the comments.
Help with the algorithm. Yeah, actually do it. But be nice about it.
No, don't be nice about it. Just talk shit if you want. It's fine. As long as there's some sort of comment.
Just write all you're feeling. Don't DM us personally. Go, that's not on the algorithm. People can't see that. Like, comment it on the YouTube shorts, on the TikToks, on the full length video. We are everywhere. Everywhere. We're everywhere. This is a good episode. I think we should probably stop it now.
Right.
Do you want to do the outro? You do I did the intro this morning. You do the outro now.
Peace.